Hi, I'm Rappler Entertainment Editor Marguerite de Leon, and welcome to the latest episode of Rappler Talk Entertainment. Today we have Troy Laureta in the house.
Hi.
Hi, Troy. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay. All right, so let's get right to it. So you've been making music professionally since the early 2000s. First off, how did you get into music in the first place?
Well, I come from a very musical family. My dad played guitar and he used to join the singing competitions back in Manila. So music has always been around, and my family obviously are big fans of the FC. So teleseries and ASAP was always playing in the house. So I grew up with music pretty much the whole time, me and my sister.
Right. So you focused on directing, arranging, and producing for all kinds of artists.
Yes.
What made you decide to go down the producer route in particular?
You know, to be honest, it was a very, it was a journey because I came to LA to become an artist. So I was initially supposed to be like this singer. I had this grand, dream of becoming the next Elton John. And after college, I started, leading a lot of like the local bands, like the college bands, and it just became a thing. And I did my first audition with David Foster, and I got the gig. And after there, it just kind of like, spread out. It did like a ripple effect, and I started just, MDing a lot of different people. And I put the artistry in the background, in the back burner. So 15 years later, to be able to do this for OPM and still kind of like hone in my artistry is something very special to me. So it's like a full circle moment.
That's awesome to hear. So you've worked with a lot of big international names in the industry like Ariana Grande, Andrea Bocelli, Justin Bieber, as well as local heavyweights such as Lani Misalucha and Martin Rivera.
Yes.
So what do you think makes a great musician? And like, what is that quality that for you separates an amazing artist from an average one?
There's a lot of great singers, a lot of great songwriters, but for me, a great artist is marked by their passion. I'm so obsessed with music, obsessed than most. And when I find an artist that is just as obsessed and passionate about their music, their art, not just the singing part of it, but the storytelling of it, the resilience of the struggles of it. That's what makes a great artist to me, when I can see how much time and effort and love they put into their craft. And it's very obvious when that happens. You can tell who are the greats and who is just a great singer.
Right. Someone who really like dinidibdib
Exudes the artist, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the secret to working with such big personalities to begin with? Like, I don't know about you, but I might get intimidated like when working with someone who's so famous already. So what's it like?
Oh, girl, I still get intimidated. Okay. You know what? I think that one of the strengths in terms of how I'm able to communicate and hang with these artists is my Filipino-ness,
Cool,
my
okay.
Filipino identity. Filipinos are known to be super hospitable, and my parents have taught me to just be, humble and to just give love. And I'm also from Hawaii, so we have the aloha spirit.
Right.
And it's just being friendly to people. You give what you receive. So whenever I meet these artists, I'm just myself. Hi, how you doing? Kumain ka na? All of that. And it's something sweet and very rare in the industry back home. I think that the Filipino identity is just so close to what you would get at like your grandma's house or your mom's house. You go home and you feel like family. So when I started celebrating that and using that in my my business world, in the music world, everyone just kind of gravitated towards that. That's what I love about being Filipino.
That's cool. Like, I'm sure a lot of artists aren't used to that kind of...
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure in the LA scene, like, everyone's just like...
Go on the go.
Yeah.
Here, they're like, how are you today? Did you eat? Did you, do you need a ride? And I just love it. It's so delicious. And so I'm reconnecting with it, and I love it. I'm loving every moment of it.
That's great. So, this is a bit of a heavy question, but how much has the music industry changed from the 2000s to now? It's been 20 years.
A lot. Just on the business side alone, it's so different with social media, with the influx of Instagram and TikTok. But in terms of the music, I think that it's very different. It's not necessarily good or bad. It's ever changing. I'm a kid of the 90s and the early 2000s. I feel like that's when some of the greatest singers of the Philippines came out and the greatest music. And I think that within the past couple years, there's been an influx of Filipinos discovering OPM and those old songs. And with the albums that I did that was one of the goals, is to kind of remind the Filipinos of what beautiful music we have. And in terms of OPM now, I think that it's coming back. It's always been there, but to be reminded with all the beautiful songs that we've had in the past, I think that it's really great. And I think that we're starting to embrace our own. You know, Filipinos can do anything. You know, we're the masters at like doing Western music or K-pop and everything. But I think slowly now we're starting to re-embrace our own music.
Yeah.
And with that power and same passion that we put into other people's music, if we put it into our music, OPM will be unstoppable, honey. And I'm excited to see where the new OPM trend will take us in the next couple of years. So,
Awesome. I'm going to ask you something about that a
Yeah.
little later. So let's talk about your latest album, Dalamhati. It's the third and final album in your series of OPM albums sung by both local and international artists. So tell us more about it and about your OPM project on the whole.
the 3 albums that I did, the Troy Laureta OPM collectives, the main thing for those albums was to celebrate our music. You know, I've been blessed and very lucky to travel the world with so many artists and do so many different genres, but I attribute a lot of my success and my musical upbringing to OPM. So after being in the game for over a decade and garnering all the connections and the resources, I wanted to kind of give back to my people and its music. So with these 3 albums, I just wanted to bring back old classics, remind people that, we still have those songs, we have these songs. And I wanted, it was a dream of mine since I was a kid to have the artists that I work for, whether it was Ariana or Bieber or Bocelli or David, to kind of show them our music. And I've done that over the years. I've played our music during sound checks. I've introduced my bandmates to Regine Velasquez. And
Cool.
finally in 2020, I was given the opportunity to, the pandemic, there was nothing to do, diba? So I was like, this is the dream that I've had since I was a kid, so I'm gonna pursue it. I called all my friends, all the musicians, all the artists, like, hey, we're not doing anything. Do you wanna go and sing these Filipino songs? And again, leading with love and leading with the Filipino identity, they saw my heart and they all said yes. And it was such a surreal experience for me to see people willing to celebrate our music because they saw the passion and the love that went into it. So these 3 albums are a testament to that. It's 3 albums, about 50 songs altogether of OPM songs, new OPM and old OPM, sung by the people that I've worked with, from the musicians to the creatives to the artists. Every single person was just put their love and effort into making sure that our music sounds great.
Awesome. Like, how do the Filipino American community, how does the Filipino American community respond to this project? Like, especially considering that they're so hung up on nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
The Filipino, there's been, again, another influx of Filipinos in America rediscovering their roots, myself included. We always want to be, we just want to connect with our
Yeah.
people, you know what I'm saying? Like with all the things that on social media, like from the food to the music, I think that's helping Filipinos be more proud of who they
Yeah.
are. With these albums, the Filipino American community has been very receptive. They're like, oh my God, I used to sing this with my dad.
Right.
I have it on Magic Mike. I used to sing this on the birthday parties, and I've been getting messages from Filipino Americans and even the people abroad, the workers abroad.
Yeah.
They would tell me like, I've been in Dubai, I've been in Saudi Arabia for 10 years, and your album made me feel like I'm back home again, made me feel hugged, and I feel so much happier. And I think that is why I did these albums too, is to
Right.
give people a piece of home no matter where they are and to make them proud to be Filipino. So
that's the best.
it's
That's
the best,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That's awesome. So, you got to work on this album with Lauren Allred, Pia Toscano, Jordan Sparks, Catherine McPhee. So, a lot of very famous names on this new record. So, how did you get them on this project?
I've been working with some of these artists for a number of years now, and when you gain that kind of trust, because music, a relationship in music is a lot of trust. And I just called them. I just said like, hey sis, no, hey
Wow.
love, do you want to do this music? I led with love. I was an open book when it comes to, I was very transparent of why I wanted to do this project. It's a passion project. And I guess they just all, again, they saw my heart. They loved the music because OPM is beautiful. And what more can you want? Like, you have the passion, the love, the beautiful songs, and they just all said yes. They were just so excited to sing real music. Because, you know, a lot of the music now is just, you know, is great, you know, party music, hey, but Filipino music is still in that violins and
Yeah.
love songs, and that's the kind of songs that a lot of real singers grew up with. You know, the
Right.
Whitney Houstons, the
Yeah.
Celine Dion's, the David Fosters, the Brandys, and Filipino music and Filipino people still appreciate that. So I think
Yeah.
that's why they were drawn to it. It's because we can sing again. You know,
Right. Yeah, I was about to say like Filipino music is for singers.
Yes.
It's a challenge to sing.
Yes.
Like not everybody can sing these songs.
Not everybody, honey.
Yeah. There's something very special about it.
Yes,
and I guess
ma'am.
like when they heard it, like they felt challenged.
They did.
Like, oh, can I hit that? Can I
Yes.
do those runs or something like that?
Yep.
Perfect. So, what's so interesting about your work is that you get foreign artists to take on Filipino songs, sung in Filipino. So, how difficult is it to work with the language barrier? Like, do you have and do you have any tips for singers who want to interpret songs in languages other than their own?
You know, I think the mark of a great singer is their talent to imitate, and a lot of these singers, a lot of it was just done phonetically
Yeah.
at first. You know, like just listen to it. I gave them the lyrics, and we'll refine it in the studio. But when they came in, honey, they just went in the studio, and it took like maybe an hour, 2 hours was the longest session I've ever had, but a maximum of 2 hours, and they just kind of sung what they heard.
Right.
And the little things like the T's and the whatever,
Yeah.
those were just very simple to do, but pretty much they listened to it and kind of imitated what they heard of
Right.
the original. It wasn't really hard at all, and the Filipino language is like very much like Latin languages, very open vowels,
Right.
very just and o. So they loved the fact that they were able to sing these notes in such openness. So
Yeah.
it was really easy. The Filipino language is a romantic language, right? So kilig. It was super natural for them.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, it's important to note that you're also an openly gay musician.
Sure am.
Yeah, so which in the Philippines is still admittedly quite rare. So, what's your advice to local LGBTQ musicians who want to further their career?
I think when we stop caring what other people think and just live your life, because a lot of it for me, why I didn't want to come out in the beginning, you know, besides, which is a lot of like, you know, the fear of losing the love of my parents and
Yeah.
the religious aspect of it, and as a Filipino, we care about what people think. You know what I mean? We don't want to be nakakahiya, like.
Yeah.
But when you're able to just celebrate who you are and filter out the noise, I think that you'll become more happier. Like I let go a lot of that stuff. My relationship with God is strong and proud, honey. I still love Jesus and I'm gay. And the love of my parents, they cool. They will get over it. Like we will still be mom and dad and son at the
Yeah.
end of the day. And with the other people, you know, when I first came out, I told myself that if I'm good with God and if I'm good with my parents, I don't care who else knows. So when I kind of, you know, internalized that, coming out was just so easy. And I'm telling you, after I came out last year officially to everybody.
Yeah.
So much opportunity, so much love poured into me, like from other people. Like, it almost made me wish, like, grabe, like I should have came out 10 years ago. Like,
Right.
what would have happened? Everybody was just so receptive. I connected with a lot of people that I never thought I would connect with in terms of like a personal, you know, like there was a connection.
Yeah.
When before I would be so, I would hide myself and I would be so awkward and people would know that I'm being awkward.
Yeah.
But when I came out, everybody was like, oh, you just yourself, honey. It's like, yes, honey, let's be friends. And it opens so much doors. And the LGBTQ community is just so beautiful. And I think that Filipinos are slowly, but finally, you know, embracing that. And
Yeah.
I see it everywhere. I see it in our culture. I see it in our music. And it's beautiful to see. And I hope that it continues.
How do you feel about the local LGBTQ scene here? Have you been interacting with any queer musicians here?
Yes, they're fierce. The singers, the musicians, the drag queens.
Yes, yes.
I just love, you know, growing up. That's the thing. The funny part is the LGBTQ community has always been a part of the Filipino identity. That's what makes it so beautiful. And it's just the fact that it's still a little closeted a little
Right,
bit.
a little
It's just,
bit, yeah.
just a little bit. It's just, come on, like let's be the pioneers and just acceptance and love, because that's who we are as a people. So yes, since I've been here, I've collaborated with singers. There's a beautiful LGBTQ singer named John Mark Saga, who is one of the best singers I've ever heard. In addition to a lot of musicians, there's just so many talented people within our community, not just the Filipino, but also the LGBTQ, and it makes me so proud to not just be Filipino but gay, knowing that there's other fierce musicians and artists out there in our country. So
Do you follow RuPaul's Drag Race?
I sure
Yeah.
do, honey.
Who's your favorite Filipino drag queen?
Ooh, you know what?
I know there's so many. They're so good, all of
There's
them.
so many,
yeah.
but I'm not familiar with their names like per se. But I do love Jiggly Caliente and
Oh, yeah.
Manila Luzon, of course. But there's so many. There's some that follow me on Instagram, and I'm
Oh,
just so
cool.
proud to see. The one thing I love about the Philippines and being Filipino is knowing how hard they work, because
Yeah.
I know how hard we work in the States. So in the Philippines, especially with the drag queens or any artist, musician, to be able to travel from as far as Laguna to Cavite just to come to Manila to put on their makeup and put
Yeah.
on their wigs and everything. I know it's no small feat, and it's really nice to see how fierce and resilient and powerful they look after all of the shit that they've been through. And I
Right.
just love it so much. It makes it that more special.
So we're unfortunately down to our last two questions. So ultimately, your work is a testament to OPM.
Yes.
And that was a term that was coined decades ago. So how would you describe the OPM of today? Has it changed?
OPM of today has changed for the good, mostly for the good. I think that original Filipino music encompasses a wide range of different styles of music. I think that before there was not a stigma, but kind of like a stereotype of what OPM would sound like, but now we have like hip hop and R&B and jazz and soul and a lot of different styles. And to see it evolve like that is so beautiful. I'm so inspired by so many of the artists that I've been able to work with while I was here. And I'm just really excited. OPM is still beautiful. I mean, with my albums, it encompasses just one part of OPM, like the classics and the ballads
Yeah.
and stuff. But I'm just really excited to see how far the younger generation will take OPM, how it will break barriers and not be boxed into a particular genre or a particular peg, we have to do it like this. I'm just very excited to see that there's just such variety now.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much.
Awesome. So before we go, is there anything you'd like to promote to our viewers?
Besides my album Dalamhati, which is available on all digital platforms, I just want to say to the Filipino community, let's embrace our own. There's so much beautiful music in the world. I've worked with a lot of them. I've worked with so many different genres and people from all over the world, but there's nothing like coming home to the Philippines, and I truly mean that. And I've been around the world many times over, and every time I come home to the Philippines and hear our music, see how resilient our people are and how hard they work and how fierce it comes out when it's out. I think that it's about time that we support and celebrate and promote OPM. And I think that when we do that, we will be just as big as K-pop, we'll be just as big as what the UK puts out, what Japan puts out, what the Latin community puts out. It's about time that Filipinos had our time, because now people are slowly recognizing our singers, our creatives. Now let's do the music, because our music is beautiful. Kay ganda ng ating musika, no?
Ganda. Perfect. A call to action from Troy Laureta. So thank you so much, Troy, for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
All right, that wraps up this episode of Rappler Talk. If you have any comments, hit us up on Rappler socials. I'm Marguerite de Leon. Thanks for watching.